Hey, speaking of food, though, we did get we have some Indian food that's really spicy, and I would it'd be really cool if a couple people would try, someone who's never had Indian food before. If you want to, it'd be nice to have a couple volunteers.
It was a little spicy. Sorry, that was really loud. I didn't realize how loud that was going to be.
Right.
But it was pretty good. It was really good, actually. But
wait, it's a little spicy or a lot spicy?
A little spicy. I mean, I like to say I can handle spice a little bit better than like the average person. But yeah, it had a little kick to it, but nothing too bad.
All right, that's cool. Bro, how about you, man?
Honestly, this part, no, not spicy to me.
Yeah?
Like it's got a little bit of a bite, but...
Oh, dog. Come on, man. I thought we wanted the spiciest stuff.
My dinner was spicier.
But you've never had... Listen, but you never
had tried this one.
You've never had Indian food? Dude, what do you think? You've never had Indian food?
No.
Oh, come on.
I like it. It's really good. Would definitely eat it again.
Bro.
I think it's got a little bit of heat to it.
Yeah. Dude, dig into your white man roots, my friend.
Dig into your
and
white
man
man
up.
roots.
All right.
No, that chicken is really good.
Chicken's good? Dude. It looks good. Would you get it again?
I would, yes.
You all, one way you know an Indian family here in the United States is by the level of education. That Indians, so first off, Asians, people of Asian ancestry across the board are the most highly educated people in the United States, group in the U.S. And it's like, in 2015, I mean, it continues to go up a little bit, but basically today you can assume about 54%, which is really high. I mean, look at the difference there. Like that is just exceptionally high. Percent of U.S. Indians, this is just U.S. Indians, okay? And U.S. Indians 25 and older with a college degree. So of all Indians, we're looking at 75% of all Indians have at least a bachelor's degree. 75% in the United States of all Indians. But U.S. born, it's a little lower, but foreign born, it's higher. And that's mostly because in the United States, we keep track, we're careful about who we're going to let in. And lots of Indians come to the United States based on people will come based on their degrees. I mean, there aren't many sociology majors in the U.S. who would stay on and work in the field of sociology, for example. Lots of technology, lots of computer science, engineering, and so on. Tulsi and Atar, can you talk about this a little bit, about being highly educated? You are the most highly educated ethnic group in the U.S. So can you say something about that? How is that? Like, why? What's behind that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it's a lot of the fact that a lot of Asians kind of immigrated a little later on once they started to control it, and it's a little bit harder to get to come here, and they really do look at things like your education, and if you're coming here to study, like how likely are you to finish your degree? Are you already educated? Do you provide something that they can't find here?
Mm-hmm. Like, do your parents, do they push education, or is it just you're going to college?
They push it. It's a little bit of both. Just the culture kind of dictates you're going to go, but they push it too. So a little bit of both.
And Tulsi, what would you say?
For me, I guess I wouldn't say like they push it, but it was definitely expected of me to go to college. I was the first person in like my immediate family to graduate high school in the U.S. I will be the first person to graduate college here in the U.S. too. And like both my parents have degrees in India. It's just that's like what the expectation was. Like, oh, we moved to this country, so you should probably experience everything it has to offer, which is college.
And this is true of immigrants. By the way, class, this is true of immigrants across the board. I can almost say every. And this includes immigrants from Europe, immigrants from everywhere in the world. People who immigrate come to the United States. The most important thing they want is for their children to have a better life, and education is part of that. But Indians, you all take it to the next level. Obviously, look at these numbers, right? Because look at these numbers here, U.S. born in particular, and compare that to all Americans. All Americans is 33%. Like, come on, man, you have a higher percentage who've gotten postgraduate degrees than all Americans. Madura, what would you say about this? I mean, it's different for the two of you, right? Because there are hundreds of millions of Indians in India who are not going to college and would not come to the U.S. and be able to go to college. So the two of you are unique in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get educated. I'm the first one from my family to come here for an undergrad degree. I've had people before me come here for a postgrad degree. My mom's a PhD, my dad's a master. He got his MBA. My sister got her master's too from here. So I don't know, education has been a big deal. And everyone, I think even my grandparents had their postgrad degrees. So it's been
So you come from an elite family.
Well, yes.
But how many people you have working in your household?
Both my parents work.
No, like how many people working for you in the household? Like cooks and maids and gardeners?
We have a maid. We have a maid and we have someone who takes care of my granddad. So yeah, that makes two.
Okay. Bro, how about you?
I guess 3 people that work in my house.
But tell me about education. Like, is it just guaranteed that you're going to go to college?
Yeah, like my parents push education a lot, and like they always want the best education for for us. So that's why they send me to the U.S.
This is all Americans. 33% have at least a bachelor's degree. Indian Americans in the U.S., it's 75%. It's over double. So when you run into Indians in your life, you meet Indians on the street, you walk into an Indian restaurant, you see a family of Indians eating, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, 3 out of 4 Indians that you run into over the age of 25 in the United States have at least a college degree. 1 out of 4, just about higher, 1 out of 3 of everybody, all other people do, or on average do. If we take Indians out of there, that's even lower. Like, this is mind-blowing. Like, Kate, so you've lived in both worlds. Like, what would you say? Like, what is it about Indians and education and coming here?
My comparison to like education in India versus here, it's like obviously the education is better here, but the curriculum over there, it's much harder. So like I knew like 6th grade math over there. Like when I moved here, I was like 10 times ahead than a lot of the kids because I knew math over there. They learned like 6th grade math at the age of like it was like 6. Like it was like 2nd grade or like 1st grade. So like you kind of like start doing, especially math and sciences are very like popular over there. So I feel like the curriculum is definitely much like more challenging here, but they start way earlier over there.
So Madura, you're shaking your head. Same. You would say, yeah? Yeah.
And like majority of people, like the reasons they moved to the U.S. is for education. Like that was one of my reasons.
Yeah.
Like we had my dad's sister here, and then she was like, you should move here. Like I'm the only child, so she's like, yeah, like just come here. So my education, like I struggled a lot. And like when I moved with like English mostly, like I used to like fail everything. But eventually it got better because it just like you need to develop like the skills to like the curriculum here versus like over there.
First off, I want to take note down here. These are the remember like white privilege. These are, you know, this is what sends me over the edge when I just hear people randomly and just not very thoughtfully talking about white privilege. So this is the median household income of the white privileged households, $70,000. So here's Asians in the U.S. and here's all Indians and here's Indians in the U.S., $119,000 compared to white households, for example. The wealthiest households in the U.S. as a large group, right? Can you talk about that? What's that about?
Don't have too much to say. I just kind of think it's a byproduct of what we talked about earlier, where if you have more advanced degrees, you're probably going to get jobs that are higher paying overall.
And wait, and what do your parents do?
My dad's an engineer and my mom's a teacher.
I kind of like say the same thing. I feel like there's a very big stereotype of like, oh, a majority of Indian people are very rich. I don't usually believe that. I can't say the same for like my family, but my family versus me, like my parents, it's kind of different. So.
But what do you think about this? Like if I ask people about Indians or India, being wealthy isn't, people think about India, they think poverty immediately, right? It's like Mother Teresa, Calcutta, poverty, et cetera, right? When you think about Indians here in the United States, very few Americans know that Indians are at the top of the income chain, the household income chain. So like, how is that for you all?
I feel like Indians just like from back home, a lot of their money comes from past generations, not like what they're like. Obviously, they're earning good money right now, but like I know my family, we have property like basically all over the world, so like that's like a way of income. Like my parents' jobs are a way of income. Businesses we have like in India, that's a way of income. So like I feel like that it all like combines together.
And Tulsi, what would you add to this?
For me, I feel like growing up, I got a lot of like, oh, brown people are like doctors, and like they all like anytime I met someone like, oh, do you know this person, like this doctor? I feel like a lot of people associate Indian people with like being in STEM. I definitely fit the stereotype growing up. I was a little brown kid that was really good at math, and like people knew that. They all like assumed that. People who are like brown people, like, oh, I have like a doctor who's brown, or like maybe you know them. It's kind of been like growing up. Like I've always seen that people automatically think Indian people and STEM, and like obviously STEM majors and like careers in STEM make money.
Yeah. So part of it is the people who are coming to the U.S. Right? They're not the lowest caste Indians. So do the two of you, like when you think about. If you think about being back in India, do you remember having conversations about Indian Americans being at like the wealthiest households in the U.S.?
I know that because I have people who migrated here from my family who live here now, and they make bank. They are really rich. They probably don't show it. I mean, of course, we're Indian. We have that kind of saving mentality, and we're all like, we do stem from a middle class upbringing.
Wait, hang on. Can you say more about that? You're Indian, so you have a saving mentality. Can you talk about that?
Well, that's not really stemming from my nationality as such. It does come from your upbringing, I believe.
All right.
So maybe because they were raised in a middle class family, they know where they're coming from, and so they value money a little more than people who inherited money or who've always like lived rich. But apart from that, when even after moving here and being in a middle class family now with really advanced degrees, they have a lot of money, and I see how they live, and needless to say, I'm proud. But yeah, I know that they're from my family, and so I've seen them up close, that Indians, like just what the data says actually.
Okay, so let me ask you and Saksham, the two of you, when you are walking across campus, or if you were walking through the class, if I brought up all the Indian students here and you didn't know them, would you know which ones come from money and which ones don't? Or how close do you think you could be to like really pick them out?
I think the first thing could be what the person is wearing, or I don't think there's anything other than that I can see to distinguish them as.
I wouldn't say like looking at them, of course, what they're wearing, but from my shoes, and from what I'm wearing, but if I get to know them or if I go shopping with them, I can instantly make out where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Because I double check price tags.
Yeah.
And I know some of my friends don't, but I've been raised that way. And I'm not saying like I'm poor. Of course, I come from an elite family, but it's just what I think. So I double check price tags. I make sure it's the cheapest thing and the cheapest alternative. But then if I go shopping with someone, I'll probably make out that they don't care as much.
I got you. Can you pick out the people Indians who come from money and Indians who don't?
Kinda. I don't like. You can't really tell like based on what they're wearing. Like sometimes you can, but like if I had
like look, you're wearing jeans with holes in them. You know what I mean? Like my God. My mother would say, like, she would think you were poor.
Yeah, I've been called by my grandma. She calls me a homeless person when I wear these. So yes.
Yeah. All right.
But something that I would like to say with that, Indian people are very cheap.